If you have trouble setting boundaries and keeping them, and this is making you feel like a failure and that the situation is hopeless, then today's video is for you, my friend. It's Jen Silbert here of Good Girl Gone Bold, where good girls come to go bold. And this video is part 3 in a series that I'm doing on boundaries as bold power moves. Today what we want to talk about is backsliding on your boundaries. You know those boundaries that you swore you were going to hold, that you knew were good for you? The ones that you keep backsliding on and make you feel like a failure. But hey, I want you to know it's totally human. You're human. But once you start understanding what's really going on underneath, then you're going to be in a better position to hold those boundaries for good. Now, stick around to the end because I'm going to share a tool with you that I swear is going to help you prevent those boundaries from backsliding. So stick around and let's get down to it. Every few days, if not every day, we butt up against a boundary, or at least a boundary that should be in place. That happens to me. Maybe it does for you too. I'm going to give you some examples of things that I've encountered recently, and maybe you can relate. So at some point during the day, I might get a text from a friend. That friend who, if I haven't responded within a couple hours, is going to keep texting me. And she might be inviting me to an event. She might be checking in on me. But I try to hold my ground and wait until the time is good for me to respond. But when she continues to text me, there's a sense of guilt I start feeling for not responding faster. And I feel like she's going to think that I'm being cold and rude or even disinterested. And I don't want to lose her as a friend. So oftentimes I might cave and spend time looking at the invitation, give it my, attention. And that distracts me from whatever it is that I was going to do. And then I regret that I did it. Another thing I come up against is a promise I make to myself, and maybe you as a business owner, as someone who has deep creative work that she needs to do, you know that it requires focus and attention. And so there's no time for interruptions during this time. But what happens is I start feeling like maybe I'm missing out on some important message that needs responding to. So I'll get on my email and I might find a message from a client who wants to reschedule their coaching session. And I feel compelled to answer promptly because, one, I might forget about it. And two, if I don't do it right now, then it might make me look unprofessional. So I might have that thought in the back of my head. Can you relate to that? Then there's going to be at least one conversation I'm going to have each day about making plans with somebody that conflict with plans that I've already made for myself. And if I hold my boundary, then I protect my plans, but I might risk being seen as difficult because I'm not immediately complying or saying yes to the plans. I might miss a connection opportunity and feel like it's the only opportunity I have. And if I don't say yes, if I don't at least hint that I'm in agreement, then I might lose that connection. So there's this fear about not saying yes right away. The end result is that the boundaries crumble, we feel like crap, and now we're back to square one, trying to recover lost time, energy, self-respect, you name it. What happens then is that we betray ourselves and we teach people how to treat us. And neither one feels right, but we just can't help ourselves. Now, this is pretty common with good girl conditioning, because you are stuck in the fawning, people-pleasing space, and it feels uncomfortable to stray from that place. because this is a deep-rooted pattern. This is where so many women get stuck. We set the boundary, but get this, we don't feel safe holding it. Because deep down, there's this quiet fear, which is so powerful. And it's, what happens if I actually hold that boundary? Will they be mad? Will I look selfish? Will they leave me? Will they never ask me again? There are a lot of very real and perceived fears that come along with holding a boundary. We fear a perceived threat of disconnection with other people. And this is what a lot of people don't talk about, and that is the emotional cost of setting boundaries. And if this cost feels too high, then your body isn't going to feel safe in holding that boundary, even if your mind knows better. Now, if you're starting to feel, maybe even a little relief, that's good. Because I want to take you into the next real villain in this process, and that is self-doubt. The spiraling that goes on in your head when you have to set a boundary. So let's walk through this. We set the boundary, we might even communicate it, but then we start spiraling. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe I was a little bit too harsh. I don't know. I'm going to lose this friend. I'm going to ruin this moment. I'm going to lose an opportunity. And then what happens? Suddenly, your strong no becomes this little soft, well, maybe. And it's really more than fear. It's what I would call post-boundary regret. And it's fueled by your nervous system that just isn't used to standing firm and still walking through the motions even when you're feeling a little bit shaky or unsure about it. So now it's time to talk about this magical tool that I referenced early on that I swear is going to help you to stand strong on your boundaries and to reduce the amount of backsliding. It's called a bold boundary decision filter. And this helps me, now it's going to help you to hold the line even when the doubt creeps in. So what does this look like? Well, I've got 4 questions. The first one is this. Ask yourself, what am I afraid is going to happen if I hold this boundary? This is that anticipatory fear. You haven't even held the boundary. You haven't even asserted it yet, but you're starting to imagine all the things that could go wrong. The resistance you're going to encounter, the side effects and the consequences that you think are going to happen. So ask yourself this question first. What am I afraid of is going to happen if I hold this boundary? The second question in this bold boundary decision filter is this. What has happened in the past when I didn't hold my boundary? This is where you do an audit and look at what were the consequences and what was the price that you paid in the past when you didn't hold this boundary? Was it lost time? If you're saying yes when somebody comes in, even though you want to respect your time, did you know that for every distraction, it takes about 20 minutes to recover from that distraction, to get back into focus? And think about all the lost productivity. Think about the numerous distractions and the numerous 20-minute blocks of time that you've just compromised by not holding a boundary. What about your energy? Do you feel drained after you ended up complying with something that you just didn't feel aligned with and said that you were never going to do again? What about the loss of money? If you're in business and you are not holding your boundaries, what was the financial cost of not holding that boundary? And just go down the list. Now maybe it's going to start making sense. Okay, question 3. What is the cost of breaking my boundary to my energy, my peace, and my self-respect? This could go really deep. And this is looking at the reality of breaking the cost. So it's not the anticipatory fear of what you think could happen. This is the reality of what actually could happen. I am going to lose time. I'm going to lose money. I am going to drain my energy. I'm going to lose my self-respect because I even told this person that I wouldn't do this anymore. And now they come around and ask me again to push the boundary. And I'm like, okay, right. What kind of self-respect is that? And think about it. You're teaching other people how to treat you. You're saying to them that your time's not valuable, your money's not valuable, your energy's not valuable. And then question number 4, which pain is worse? Disappointing them or abandoning yourself? This one's really going to hurt. And your answer there is largely going to depend on your self-esteem and what you think about yourself. And if you don't think that your value is on par with others, if you don't think your time is as valuable as theirs, then inevitably you're going to have trouble holding those boundaries. So let's work on that self-esteem. Let's get you to a point where you realize that what you have is valuable just like them. And this is your bold decision filter, these 4 questions. And this is going to help you make boundary decisions from a place of power and not of fear. So listen, as we wrap this up, I want you to think about this. When you break your boundaries, it doesn't mean that you're flaky, it doesn't mean you're weak, it doesn't mean the situation is hopeless. It means that your nervous system is catching up with your boldness. You're learning how to rewire something that's going to feel safe. And that is a process. Every time that you try again, every time that you restate a boundary, every time that you course correct, you are building trust with yourself. And it takes practice. When you start rewiring and start retraining your nervous system and you start feeling safe, you're going to be coming from a place of power and ownership. It's just retraining that nervous system and practicing until you get boundaries that stick. So let's talk about it in the comments. Have you broken a boundary before? What fear came to the surface and made you backslide on that boundary? Let's name it so that we can start rewriting it. And if this video has helped you to see things differently when it comes to boundaries, then make sure to hit like and subscribe and check out the rest of the series. You deserve boundaries that don't just protect you, but they honor you. So let's go bold together.